Joining us for a closer look at what's playing itself out in that market scene is Odwa Magwentshu from Trive Investments. Odwa, a happy Friday to you. How are you?
Thank you. Hi, Noltando.
All right, this week is what I've said, but I'm going to describe it as stubby. It's been short and tough. And we are seeing markets showing us some green screens today. But yesterday was quite the bloodbath, wasn't it?
100%. I think yesterday was a lot of information was coming out, not just the elections, but we also had Reserve Bank is discussing whether or not they're going to keep our interest rates as is, and we were likely to see that that was the case in the South African markets. We are still very far from that target of 4.5% on inflation. So I mean, yesterday was just, I think, majorly a shock in terms of also the results that we are seeing coming out from the election.
This election has changed our currency picture quite a bit, Odwa. It does decrease our chances of seeing an interest rate cut in 2024. The global environment was already, I think, casting doubt on that. But I think we can start to concede, and maybe the markets would have to price something like that in.
100%. You right now, I mean, as we are seeing the elections coming up, we are seeing the ANC is no longer, a firm leader. And as you say, what could also hinder that is that coalitions, if you look in the South African space, the governance hasn't been smooth in different coalitions we have across the country. And I think that the markets fear that that could expand to the country as a whole. So that's why the elections are quite a big thing right now. And that's why we're also seeing a bit of fear, if you may, in the markets.
Another one that rocked us this week, Anglos and BHP, I think for now that's on ice. But we do know that Anglo CEO Duncan Wanblad is now speaking about a secondary listing of that platinum business, Amplats. I think it's a very interesting direction it's taking there, but also affirming the fact that what BHP and Anglos possibly couldn't agree on was actually the structure moving forward. The commercials were really, secondary.
100%. I mean, at first it was all about commercials, but as you rightfully say, I mean, then the second negotiation was that Anglo would have to then sell off their Amplats and also the Kuma iron ore business. So I mean, with that, I think that BHP was a bit aggressive in that matter, and Anglo just wouldn't budge on that. The structuring was just too difficult, and I think they were what BHP asking for an extension on the 28th was also looking to see what happens with the elections. If any regulations is going to come into play that could end up, hurting the business or make it the deal not worth it. That was the sentiment I got from what I was seeing. Now that BHP wants to purchase again, they would have to wait another 6 months, is what has been said. And now this new listing is quite interesting. I think that maybe Anglo is looking at getting maybe investor money from a European place.
Let's also talk about what we're seeing in terms of the retail space this week. We saw Pick n Pay out with an update, Woolworths as well. I think we have reached a point of inflection here in terms of, the consumer strain in South Africa and how that's playing into company results. Our retailers, okay, Pick n Pay has its own issues, but generally retailers are battling now. And of course, as we speak of this hawkish tone from the Reserve Bank and the strain from the Rand, this could get a little worse.
It definitely could get much worse. I mean, I think starting off with the Pick n Pay, one of the key factors, they are looking to restructure and get with issues that they're looking to get to more finances in the business to try and alleviate the debt that they have. They also are listing Box as well. So they are trying to make amends in what's happening. But the big issue I think a lot of investors are looking at is that they've lost the founding family. The Ackermans are now getting out of the business itself, which then gives, as an investor, you a little less faith as you normally would in the business. And then if we go to Woolworths, as you said, they results came out, or they were showing trade update telling us that things are looking a bit more dire on their front. And if you listened internationally, there was also news where the CEO of Woolworths in Australia was under a bit of fire a few weeks ago. So I think that not only in South Africa is Woolworths struggling, it's also internationally, and that is what we're seeing in the share price as well.
Let's talk about today's retail numbers out of Dis-Chem. They're reporting a 1.6% decline in full-year earnings there. I mean, Dis-Chem is the company that was killing it during COVID. To see them move in this direction, Odwa, I think it plays more into the thesis of this very strained consumer.
100%. The consumer is counting their cents. Even I think now could be a good case for them, as we are entering winter. So the next results might be favorable for them. But in terms of these current results, they are currently going through a tough time. They did also have that acquisition that they did, and that is also hurting the current picture. And we also, if you look at the cost of goods, that also went up quite a bit, meaning that even to just keep the business running is gotten more expensive. So the retailer not purchasing as much or buying as much, and then on top of that, you are seeing this. The structuring and everything that they did is hurting them in these particular results they released today.
With that said, I'd like you to get your stock pick for this afternoon.
My stock pick is Symbotic. Symbotic is an American company. They automate warehouses, and they currently have a very good partnership with Walmart. And if you look at their revenues, they've jumped from 2019 at 100 million to now close to 1.5 billion revenue they've brought in. So I mean, it is a growth stock and growing quite aggressively, and that is my stock pick for today.
Wonderful. Odwa, thank you for being with us this afternoon. It's always a pleasure. That was Odwa Magwentshu from Trive Investments.